Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking? Good news, it's Friday. You made it. You made it. It's the weekend. Well, I guess it is everywhere but LA. The West Coast. But it is here. Hey, today I'm going to tell you about the mullet. The mullet. There's no mullet in the background here. It's just somebody getting their hair cut. It's hard to find pictures of mullets that are public domain. For good reason, I would imagine, but I am going to tell you about the mullet today. First, though, you can go to the TomGulleyShow.com. There's 270 podcasts there. At least one of them has to make you happy. If it doesn't, well, it's probably more you than me. Then also, you can go to our merch store where there's merch, and you can get merch like this 20-ounce coffee mug that Terry Nee got. Man, you could live in that in rough times, I guess. And you can also donate. Some people were really generous this week. Man, it was so awesome at paypal.me/TomGulleyShow. It was really, really great. Mullet fishing. Yes, mullet, I think... I don't know, man. There's part. I'll get to it, but that's part of it, kind of in my mind, but not in what I found. Jared said, "Show that picture of you with the mullet from 1986." I never had a mullet. I never did. Here's proof. Does that look like a mullet to you? That just looks like a mop of hair that I'm sure my mom had combed properly before that was kindergarten, I think. That or first grade, one of the two. But I never had a mullet. I had part on the side for a while. It was really, really short, but I very quickly went to this, and it's been this. Although there was a period of time it was this, and then it went to, I wish I could find it. It's here somewhere. I went totally opposite direction, and I had like a big Lebowski haircut. It was down to the middle of my shoulder blades in the front and real big in the back, and then big in the front, and I had a goatee at the time as well. So did you ever have a ducktail? No, I did not. And young Ted Koppel tonight on Nightline. That's funny. It is a young Ted Koppel. John Brown says, good evening from the UK. Haven't seen John in a long while. I hope you're doing well, and your lady is as well. John, thank you for being here. We all had ducktails at one point, says Jared. I don't recall having a ducktail. Aku says, I had a Caesar cut for most of my youth when it wasn't overgrown. Well, my mom did the bowl haircut. She brought out the Tupperware and just right along the sides. Chef and crew in the house cooking up some good things on a Friday night from the denizens of Union Station in Indianapolis, Indiana. That ought to be pretty awesome. That ought to be some pretty good grub, if I do say so myself. Real quickly, before we get going, this weekend, you might want to take some time and visit Sonic Asylum Radio at sonicasylumradio.com. They allow me to post my show on their Facebook page, and man, they have got quite a setup over there. They've got shows by actual heavy metal musicians, and then there's Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria, which is 6 hours of just... And it's not all metal. She does a thing it's the alphabet attack, where she'll say, okay, the letters today are G and R, and the band's got to start with G, and the song's got to start with R. And man, it's awesome. And they got a chat room on the website that you can put GIFs in, and it's a blast. And Metal Maiden Vicky usually has an up-and-coming metal group that she interviews, and boy, oh boy, she'll play cuts off their new album and everything else, and she does the best job of anybody on earth. And I really love those guys over at Sonic Asylum Radio, so check them out, please. And they've got a cast of characters over there, an amazing guitarist by the name of Steve Bello. You need to check him out if you get a chance to. So anyway, bowl cut. Knew a few kids who had that. Never straight. No, it never was. Well, You know, you got to comb it one way, and I obviously got it messed up because you can tell there over on the left side of the picture it needs to be swept more. You know, whatever. Alfred E. Newman. John Brown says we're both good, thanks. Yeah, they have a paranormal show that they do, John and his better half, and it's a good show. Check it out if you're into that kind of thing. Mullet Master Cutter, says Reverend Wild Bill. Well, if you have the Wild Bill's Cherokee Barber Shop in Atlanta, Georgia, you better know how to cut a mullet. You better know. And there's SG. SG, thank you so much for being here. He says, hey now. Diane O'Brien's here from Shrewsbury, Shropshire, also from the UK. Always good to see Diana. Reverend Wild Bill says, business in the front, party in the back. Yep, it's a paranormal. Yeah, it's a paranormal show. Akumugan says, my hair is 4 times thicker than average, and I have a triple crown. I made a few girls cry in high school because my cousin ran the hairdresser classes, and I offered to be a victim. My hair was all messed up when I was a kid. There was like 3 different kinds, and it was bushy and awful, and it wouldn't be controlled. And my mom had her best friend, who was a hairdresser, give me a perm, a Greg Brady perm for a couple of years. Those were some dark times for Tom Gully, trying to get dates in high school. And I finally, when I got to college, I just went, this is all coming off. We're going punk rock, baby. JC said, not me. Dinah Bryan says, hi, John. Love to see you in the chat. Yes, it is lovely. It's so lovely. So very lovely. People saying hi and well wishes. And, of course, we love a cheerful chat room. Hey, let's see. Last mullet cut. Let's just say she was more man than you and I put together. Things that make you go home. That's actually part of my report today. Let me just check, because I do have an update. Don Larpy has reposted our show, as has Terry Nee. Thank you so much, gentlemen. You guys are the best. Okay, let me go to the tote board here, because I do have an update from yesterday. I got it late last night of viewing hours. We are now at 2,762 viewing hours. It's just closer every day, ladies and gentlemen. Closer every day. Hey, by the way, I also hope your bracket's doing well. I'd hate for you to not have a good bracket. I know how painful it can be when your bracket isn't doing like you hoped it would. I'm doing okay. I'm about middle of the pack, I would say. Middle of the bracket pack. So that's more than I can ask for at this juncture. At this juncture. Let me see here. Hey, John. Yeah, John and Wild Bill know each other from the paranormal world. JC says, don't forget to oh yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. Those things don't cost you anything. Don't cost you a red cent. They really help me out, especially the lives here on YouTube. Everywhere else they help as well. But the prescribed way to watch the Tom Gully Show is, of course, here on YouTube. Although we are on Twitter and Facebook. For reasons I still don't know. Brackets going to poo. Chris Abels is here. Replayables will be on tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Levyverse channel. He says, I wish I could grow a mullet. Oh, come on, man. You're fine. John Brown says, hey, Wild Bill. Hope you're well. Okay. Aku Mugen says, I'd sell my hair to Shuli if he offered. I like the bald look. A lot of people do. But see, some people can't do the bald look because when they shave all the hair off of it, their head has crevices. And it doesn't work for everybody. Karen Garvey's here. Karen, always a pleasure. Wild Bill says the thumbs up, apparently. Chris Abel says, jackpot 3K close. I don't know what that means. Good evening, Dupin. People saying hi to each other. Yes, closer to monetization more and more every day. It's been a long, hard struggle, but we're getting there. Doopa says hello to Chris Abels, and everybody else saying hi to Chris Abels, too. So let me get to my thing open, and then we can go to the mullet haircut, and I can start telling you about the mullet. The mullet, the mullet, the mullet, the mullet. Some of this stuff I don't know that I agree with. There is a mullet for you. And that, I like this as the first picture because that's not just a mullet. That's the face of a guy that wears a mullet. And then the two often go together. Okay. Mullet is a hairstyle in which the hair is cut shorter in the front and the top and the sides, but is longer in the back. As Wild Bill put it, party in the... What'd you say? Business in the front, party in the back? I forget what she said now. Now I got to look it up. I got to go back. I got back through my own chat and look that up. Let's see here. Business in the front, party in the back. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so according to the Oxford English Dictionary, use of the term mullet to describe this hairstyle was apparently coined and certainly popularized by American hip-hop group the Beastie Boys, who used mullet and mullet head as epithets in their 1994 song, Mullet Head, combining it with a description of the haircut. Number 1 on the side and don't touch the back. Number 6 on top and don't cut it whack, Jack. They expounded on the subject at length in a 6-page article entitled Mulling Over the Mullet in issue 2 of their magazine, Grand Royal, offering a selection of alternative names for the cut, including hockey player haircut and soccer rocker. Okay. Yeah, there's a few false etymologies of this that people said, no, we were before the Beastie Boys, but they really can't prove that anywhere. Now, I always thought that the haircut name, and this may actually be true as it concerns the Beastie Boys as well, but I always thought that the name, as Terry Nee mentioned, he went fishing for mullets. If you look at a mullet, the stuff on the mullet, it looks like a mullet. It looks like the mullet haircut. And I always thought it came from the fish. Till today. Yes, even I am not too proud to learn from the Tom Gully Show. And also, there are famous mullets. I'm going to show you one right now. Yes, David Bowie at one point in time had a rather pronounced mullet. So, mullets in antiquity. A metal figurine dated back to the 1st century AD and found during 2018 preparations for a new car park in Wimpole Estate, England, was hypothesized by archaeologists to indicate that natives in ancient Britain during the Roman occupation could have worn their hair similarly to mullets. In the 6th century, Byzantine scholar Procopius wrote that some factions of young males wore their hair long in the back and cut it short over the forehead. This non-Roman style was termed the Hunnic look. And researcher Alan Henderson describes the ancient hairstyle as useful. It kept the hair out of the eyes, yet provided warmth and protection for the neck. So there. Now, Native America. In Mort's Relation, author Edward Winslow described the Plymouth Pilgrims' first encounter with the Native Americans, Samoset of the Abenaki in 1621. He was a tall, straight man, the hair of his head black, long behind, only short before, none on his face at all. 1621, apparently Native Americans were wearing the mullet. Native Borneo. Some tribes in Borneo also have mullet hairstyles, including Dayak Kayan, Kenya, and Iban. In the 1960s, and you will remember this one, it may not have been known as a mullet at the time, but Tom Jones sported a mullet in 2 of his 3 1963 performances of his hit song, It's Not Unusual to Be Loved by Anyone, on the Ed Sullivan Show, May the 2nd, 1965, and June 13, 1965. In the 70s, Mullets were worn by rock stars like the pictured David Bowie, Rod Stewart, Keith Richards, Paul McCartney, all in the early 70s. When writing Neil Peart's eulogy in January of 2020, Greg Prato asserted that Peart had a mullet based on his observations of a 1974 video, suggesting he may have been one of the first rockers to sport another hairstyle, the rat tail. In the 80s in Australia, the United States, and the United Kingdom, mullets were everywhere. The 1980s were also the high point of the mullet's popularity in continental Europe. How about that? Here's just more mullet for you if you'd like to check some of that out. And who wouldn't, ladies? Right, ladies? Am I right, ladies? Also in 1980s, the mullet became part of lesbian culture, where it came to be used as a way of identifying oneself as a member of that culture in public. So, Wild Bill, you might have something there. In the 1990s, after the much-publicized 1992 DC Comics storyline when Superman apparently died, the character returned to the 1993 follow-up storyline, Reign of the Supermen, in which he was depicted with a mullet. The canceled Superman film project, Superman Lives, would have depicted Superman with a mullet. Punk rock band The Vandals sang of the mullets worn by country music singers and guests of the Jerry Springer Show, and listed regional names for the hairstyle in the 1998 song I've Got an Ape Drape. In 1997, the gay punk band Pansy Division released their single Hockey Hair in Vancouver, Canada, about this hairstyle. Vocalist Wendy Willis wrote and released the track Cut the Mullet in 1998. And in the 2000s, the 2001 film American Mullet documents the phenomenon of the mullet hairstyle and the people who wear it. The same year, Universal Records of Canada released the album Mullet Years, Power Ballads, a collection of hard rock ballads. This hairstyle became popular with the bogan subculture in Australia and New Zealand. In the 2010s, well, sadly, the mullet was banned in Iran as one style on the list of un-Islamic, decadent Western haircuts. Oh, sorry, it's just funny to me. Oh, boy. The mullet was returned to the spotlight in 2015 by K-pop idol G-Dragon during his band's Big Band Made World Tour. Bayukin of EXO also sported a mullet in promotion for the group's 2017 song Coco Bop. K-pop artists who have worn mullets include Block B's Zico, Song Minho, Namju Hoik, Dean, Stray Kids Chan and Han, Vix's N, Baps Hinchman, and 17's Woozy and Theate. The mullet has also experienced a revival within American sports. After winning back-to-back Stanley Cups, Phil Kessel was spotted in Pittsburgh Penguins training camp in 2017, bringing the mullet back to its native roots of Pittsburgh hockey. Jaromir Jagr wore a mullet with the Penguins in the 90s. Similarly, Oklahoma State head football coach Mike Gundy wore a mullet in early 2017. The popularity of his mullet supposedly earned Oklahoma State millions of dollars in marketing revenue. In addition, from 2010 to 2015, Patrick Kane of the Chicago Blackhawks popularized the playoff mullet, an alternative to the traditional NHL playoff beard. Then Pittsburgh Steelers running back James Conner began sporting a mullet in 2018, continuing the Yinzer tradition of the hairstyle in western Pennsylvania. The revival also extended to Australia in the late 2010s, with Australian soccer player Ryan Grant becoming widely known for his mullet haircut, to point it was included in the video game FIFA 20. Now, in the 2020s, where we are now, this guy here, Peso Pluma, who's a big Mexican music star, he started sporting a mullet for on the reels. ID called 2020 the year of the mullet, attributing its boom in popularity to COVID-19 lockdowns and the extended closure of hair salons. In an article for Vice Media, the mullet-wearing teenagers interviewed all described getting the haircut as a joke, with one stating, "There's an irony to the mullet haircut. It's this disgustingly gross haircut, which means it's definitely worn in an ironic way." Magna Rizko, founder of a barbershop in Brooklyn, notes that mullets allow for a professional front-facing look for COVID-era 19, Zoom meetings, while maintaining a messier, more fun look off camera when the longer back section of hair may be revealed. An annual National USA Mullet Championship began in 2020. The versatility of the taper fade has modernized the classic mullet, giving it a cleaner look. In July of 2023, the gentleman next to me, singer Peso Pluma, attracted attention for his mullet style, a hairstyle that he adopted as his signature haircut during his stardom as a musical performer. 59-year-old Tammy Manis from Tennessee was awarded a Guinness World Record for a 68-inch long mullet in August of 2023, the result of not having her hair cut for 33 years, so since she was 25 or 6. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the story on this Friday of the mullet. I welcome your mullet observations in our chat. I also remind you that you can go to the Tom Gully Show, 270 podcasts, one of which has to make you happy. Our merch store is also there. You can also go to cafepress.com/the Tom Gully Show if you want to go directly there. PayPal.me/Tom Gully Show if you'd like to contribute to me getting my hair cut, and therefore I never have a mullet. And then there's our Patreon. Like and share and subscribe, especially those likes on YouTube here. And we'll love you forever. We really will, as we enter the weekend. Let's just get to your comments here as I open up the phone lines. I'll let you know when those are going. Let me catch back up to where I was. I'd sell my hair to Shuli. There you go. Reverend Wild Bill says, when I tried to do the bald look, everyone thought I was on chemo. Sorry to hear that. Chris Abel's in the house. Replayables tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on Levyverse channel. Terry Nee says, all the boys are jealous of my head of hair. I get jealousy from people my age about my head of hair. Look at that. I got a full head of hair. Not all fellers my age do. But who cares? Mine's going to go someday. I don't, it just happens when it happens. Aku Mugen says, Theo Vaughn. Oh, Theo Vaughn. Yeah, I think he does have a mullet, doesn't he? The comedian. Not tracking with him that well. I loved it when Bill Burr lit him up. I thought that was great. Joker Fish is here. Hello, Joker. Joker says hello. That's a home-cut mullet. Julian Caesar's got a good point. Keeps the rain from dripping down the back of your neck. Our phone lines are open, by the way, at 972-994-6822. Folks saying hello to another. Business in the front, party in the back. Hello. Greg Edwards has joined us. Hello, Greg. No way that's true. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's probably true. If I said it, it's true. Hey, Joker. People saying hi. Soccer rocker. It's interesting because when I played soccer in the 80s and 90s, there were a lot of dudes that had mullets. And I always just thought those mullets just made you look like a hillbilly. And I never liked the mullet. I never did. I remember, Bill, I cut them before the Beastie Boys did the song. Well, yes, you did. And they're in Atlanta. That's got to be some sort of epicenter for mullet. Somewhere in Georgia. Greg Edwards says, never heard of that fish. Pull a pick, old man. All right, young man. All right. All right. All right. I guess it's not as close as I once thought, but here. I'll show you a picture of it. Consent to cookie days. Okay. Here's a picture. Let me get this all official and stuff. Make this official for Greg Edwards. God knows if Greg Edwards wasn't happy, I don't know what I'd do. Let me make myself teeny tiny for Greg Edwards while I share this screen real fast. It's not, it's not dead on, but I always just thought it came from the fish. Where else did you ever hear mullet? Nowhere. Greg Edwards. Come on, man. What are you doing to me here? All right, here we go. There you go. There you go. Greg Edwards. There's your mullet fish face head with the... That's as good as you're getting. Incidentally, Greg Edwards, nobody's stopping you from pulling a pick. Billy Ray Cyrus pulled the mullet cut. Oh, Billy Ray Cyrus had a mullet. There's no question about that. You got to fight for your right to part, eh? Did you ever see the mullet with the part? I've seen that. It's all real short, but there is a part there. Julian Zezer says Bowie also had the reverse, short in back and his eyes in front later. Yeah, Bowie did everything with his hair. It's quite a fashion plate. Reverend Wild Bill says Native American mullet. We call that a mohawk. The mullet as a utilitarian concept. Yes, Ronald Bateman, who has been to the condo for Bushmills. Tom and his Jones get a pass. Hey, Sunday Jenna. Oh, hey, Sunday Jenna. I love Bowie, too. Man, Bowie can do no wrong in my eyes. Well, could have done. Lyndon says Rod Stewart and some of the Faces had a type of mullet. The mullet was big in Scotland, man. During the 70s, it was big in Scotland. A lot of British soccer stars in the 70s have mullets too. Charlie George. Let me show you guys Charlie George, man. You want to talk about just a mullet guy? I'll show you a mullet guy. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let me see how big this picture is. Oh, man, we got to have a bigger picture of Charlie George than that. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I don't know if it's short enough in the front. I'll find a better one if it's not. Let me see here. Charlie George and his mullet. Man, oh, man. I think this one's better. Man, Charlie George had quite a mullet. He was an early mullet practitioner. What was old Charlie George? Come on. Help me out here. Help me out here, Google. These two will be good enough. All right, hold on. Let me share screen. I'll show you some mullets. Well, come on. That one's not done. This one is, though. All right, let me show you one of my favorite players of all time, Charlie George, who come on. There we go. There we go. There you are. There you are. There's Charlie George. All right. That's pretty mullety, I think. I got a better one here loading up. Pretty sure. Man, it's taking forever for this picture to load. Taking absolutely forever. I'm not going to mess with it here. I've seen llamas with mullets. Yes, they do have llamas with mullets. Vikings had the style, as did the native Indians. Yeah, there's a lot of mullets out there. Come on, Charlie George. Now we're talking. There he is. There's Charles Frederick George. Let me share this screen with you real fast. Man, oh man, did Charlie George have a mullet. I want to see those tips anyway. It comes up every time. Charlie George. Come on. Share the screen. There you go. Yeah, there's old Charlie George with his mullet. Now that's a mullet, ladies and gentlemen. That goes down to his neckband there on old Charlie George. But a lot of British soccer dudes at the time had very, flagrant mullets. Vikings had the style, as did the native Indian. They certainly did. Pegleg Vet says, I was so lucky to have been in the Army during the mullet era. I see them every once in a while. It makes me laugh. Can't imagine seeing it everywhere. I know, and it was everywhere. Llama mullets. Is it llama time already? No, we're about an hour away from llama time, actually. Ronald Bateman says, a rare win for Iran, who banned the mullet as a decadent Western cut. I don't know those guys could pull off the mullet with that hair. Uh-oh. Guys hear that? Can you hear it? 6:30 on a Friday. What's the temperature here in Dallas? It can't be more than 65 degrees or so. Oh, man. I'm telling you what. Yale knocked off. Yale just messed up my bracket even more. 67 degrees. The guy's out there selling ice cream. Okay. I'm getting a mullet if it's going to twerk off the radical religious people. Yeah. But the Iranian hair, can you do a mullet with that? I don't know. Lyndon says, I did not know about the mullet being a lesbian tell. I thought it was a pack of smokes rolled up in their sleeve. I don't know anything about that. Zombie Wolf says, I have one now. A rat tail, I call it. Well, the rat tail's the back, but do you have the front, Zombie? Yins. Yeah, I know you know what that is, Terry. Those people from Pennsylvania. There's a part of Western Pennsylvania that's like really, you wouldn't think of it knowing about Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, but it's country. Johnny 8 Book says KMHH. I do not know what that means. Diane O'Brien says, good one, Julian. That's true. Lyndon says, I had numerous lesbians come into the shop as regulars for me to keep their mullet looking perfect, says the Rev. Hugh says the El Camino of haircuts. Yeah, short in the front, long in the back. I guess you could say that. Lyndon says, check out Scott Hartnell's mullet. He's on the Flyers pre- and post-game shows. Hilarious. All right, let's see. Scott Hartnell. Let's check him out. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, Scott Hartnell. I'll get this one. This is his best mullet look, I think. This is the best Scott Hartnell mullet look. Let me share the screen with you. And we'll take a peek at Scott Hartnell, well-known purveyor of the mullet. Whoops-a-daisy, I got to make myself teeny tiny like Vince the lawyer. Come on. There we go. I'll make myself teeny tiny. There you go. There's Scott Hartnell. That looks like a pretty fine mullet to me. It's a pretty extreme mullet there on old Scott Hartnell. Thank you for that suggestion. Man, this computer's getting slow. All right, I don't know if I'm going to show any more pictures. It's getting too slow. Julian Z's is a bike with a normal front wheel, but a smaller rim on the back to accommodate a big, chunky off-road tire. It's called a mullet. That's cool. And the phone lines are open. They are open. 972-994-6822. Lindsay, exploring the afterlife, says, evening, Tom and everyone. Thank you, Lindsay. Good evening to you. I'm glad to have you here. The Reverend, as our paranormal visitors try to see if they can bring the mullet back to life. People saying hi to each other. And, hey, Bill. Wish all mine would fall out so I wouldn't have to. Yeah. You ringing in, Bill? I called in last night. Shame I missed it. Lindsay, you missed it. Tom let me vent last night. Yes. Are we bringing the mullet back? Well, we'll watch back. I say, punk rock groupies wore mullets. I don't remember that. I was heavily into the punk rock scene in the late 70s and early 80s. I don't remember no mullets. But I wasn't in the UK. It was at the end of the show, but the whole show was good as always. Well, I wouldn't go that far. That's going back some, Terry. Oh, did you give up on Pervitine? No, I forgot. You can ask these guys. I asked last night. I said there was something I was supposed to do, but see, Wolf, here, and I'm putting this in front of the computer, Wolf. See that? Pervitine. Monday night's show will be on Pervitine. Ha. Hey. Greg, you're lucky. Tom doesn't do that for just anyone. He wouldn't even do that for me. Do that for who? Who's Greg? I don't know. I would do things for people, especially you, Rev. I sent you a severed head. Come on, man. Wolf is in the house. That's right. Do I have a Ziggy Stardust t-shirt? No, but I do have a reality tour t-shirt. And I have a Springsteen Tunnel of Love t-shirt. I have an Elvis Costello from his first American tour from Sunshine Promotions, by the way. I've got the Police Synchronicity. These are 40-year-old shirts, man. People saying hi to each other. Hello, Kahuna. Nice to have you here. Wolf, he did the mullet instead. What if you were on Pervitine and had a mullet? Oh man, that'd be. Hamhead says the Tom Gully of the Tom Gully Show. Yeah, that's me. Break out the wooden surfboard for the big K. Yeah. People saying hello. Gullerinos, yes. Gully Heads, Gully Gang. Is it the competing names of the people that watch this show? I'm staying out of it, other than to say my preference is Gullerinos, but I don't really care. Let's see, people saying hi to each other. I'll say it again. The Replayable's on tonight at 7 on Levyverse, and I think there's also a Shuli Network show on at 7. Now we're cooking with gas. You're darn right we are. Haku says, how long before the Chaplin mustache is acceptable? I don't know. Has to be shorter on the sides to be a true mullet. I think you're right. I agree, Wolf. That was more of long hair with bangs. You could be right. I'm not going to get in an argument over Charlie George's hair. He's a great goal scorer. He scored the winning goal in the 1971 FA Cup. And here's Charlie George, and he can hit them. But my favorite Charlie, I'm so close to finding it on YouTube, is when Charlie George, he gets the ball about 30 yards away from the goal. And this had to be late 60s, early 70s, when they had very proper British soccer announcers. And here's Charlie George, and he can really hit them, and oh my word. Rocket right into the net. Of all the Dupas I know, you're my favorite. Hey, at least in New York City, we don't worry about the ice cream man until May. Did you guys hear him? He's a jerk. Turn it down. They can hear you. Tom, look behind you. There's a huge blonde kid. This is just a guy cutting that kid's hair. That's all. Ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. Yes. My uncle has had the same mullet since the 80s. That's commitment. That is commitment to the mullet. That is commitment to the mullet. Let me see. I might be able to find something here. Here we go. Doggone it. Boom, shakalaka. Okay. I guess I could just go over this. Oh, it's a slideshow. It's a gallery. I hate it when it's a gallery. CBS Sports is telling me of the first 24 games in the NCAA tournament, I've picked 15 of them correctly. It's not that good. I'll go ahead and share this. We'll see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes, shall we? Let's just go ahead, see how it goes. Could go well, it might not go well. I don't know. All right. These are some iconic mullets. Okay, Reverend Wild Bill, there's one. It's Billy Ray Cyrus with the achy breaky heart. Charlie Sheen. I don't even think that's a mullet. Forget it. Now that's getting into mullet territory, although the sides may be a little too long for some people. Andre Agassi, I think we have to call that a mullet. I think that's definitely a mullet. Girls can't have mullets. Patrick Swayze, I think Patrick Swayze had a mullet at one point in time. Mario Lopez, yeah, I think he did. That may not be one, but I think he did have one. Brad Pitt, I don't know. Meryl Streep. Oh, Meryl Streep in that Silkwood movie? Kanye, we're not counting that. Oh, Richard Dean Anderson in MacGyver. Definitely a mullet. Definitely a mullet. There's no question. Seinfeld, I think at one point. Yeah, I think maybe. Scott Batt's not a mullet. Kurt Russell was that a mullet in Escape from... Did Snake Plissken have a mullet? Big Trouble in Little China? Did Jack have a mullet? Ellen DeGeneres, that might be a mullet. I guess we could... Hulk Hogan, that just might be male pattern baldness. I don't know. It could be a mullet. John Stamos, I think at one point in time, he sported a mullet. Yeah, sure. I don't like the girl mullets. Toby Keith, look at that. 1995. That's definitely a mullet, man. McCartney, yes, we mentioned he did have a mullet. Bowie, yeah, he had a mullet. Larry Bird, yeah, I guess you got to say my man. My favorite basketball player did have a mullet early on. George Clooney did have a mullet when he was on Roseanne, especially. Kiefer Sutherland actually says that his character in The Lost Boys was one of the founding influences on the Beastie Boys. So I think we have to say, yeah, he did have a mullet. Wayne Gretzky, I'm not prepared to call that a mullet. That just looks like long and back to me. Lorenzo Lamas, I don't think so. Travolta, I don't know. Beckham, maybe. At one point, Beckham had a mullet. Jean-Claude Van Damme, I think, did have a mullet at one point. I don't think that's it, but that's... Oh, Michael Bolton definitely had a mullet. Might have been a little male pattern baldness going on there too, but he definitely had a mullet. Just my opinion. Dan McGuire, who's completely unknown if you don't know. Oh, there's Rod Stewart. He had a mullet. David Hasselhoff. Yeah. He just grew it out and back. I don't think girls are capable of having a mullet. I'm sorry. Not those girls, anyway. Maybe other girls. Snake Plissken definitely had a mullet. Oh, wow. We got a lot more chats here. Best mullet I ever saw was on a Mexican kid at a flea market, says Hamhead. Terry said the hairstyle was first worn by French fashion guru Henri Mullet in the early 70s. The Mullet did not see much light apart from the French underground dance scene until it was resurrected by popular television personalities such as Pat Sharp, the word having been anglicized by this point, to mullet. That seems like a perfectly reasonable explanation to me, as does the fish one. I think that maybe just the popular culture impact might have been the Beastie Boys. I don't know. Pegleg Vet said, we moved from the south side in the Berg to a western suburb, and it was cataclysmic culture change. It was only 30 miles from the city. I know. It's like Indianapolis. You drive 10 miles outside of Indianapolis, and you are in a cornfield. Mm-hmm. The Alani Nu Berry Breeze, delicious. The Cherry Slush, not so much. Heavy Metal Parking Lot, Tom? Yeah. Punkers here would never wear a mullet, says the Rev. I hear you. Panzer Chocolate, Hamhead says, for Pervitine, I'm sure. Yes, Panzer and Luftwaffe. And regular citizens over the counter during the 30s. Toby McGroby says, you're back. Good to see you again, Kahuna. Wait. You sent Rev a severed head? I did send the Reverend a severed head. The Wolf says, I lived a trip for 2 weeks fighting imaginary soldiers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Pervitine is good for. And I'll tell you all about it on Monday. Such a relief to know when I'm going to do the show on Monday. I don't have to worry about it all weekend. I got, as usual, a big weekend coming up on the giant radio station. I don't even do the network this week. I do the big radio station 2 days instead of... Got to dress up. I'm going to wear khakis and hard-soled shoes and a sweater. And a belt that matches the shoes. Gullets. Maybe. If I grow it out in the back, it's gully heads. Everybody has their own version, what they call it. The Reverend Wild Bill says, you hunted the picture of the fish mullet for Greg, trying to make him feel privileged. Oh, yeah, Greg, I did. And then now he's not here. And I did send the Reverend a severed head. El Gullerino, says Hamhead. That's fine with me, too. How about the Gulletines? That's fine. You guys can call it whatever you want. I have no saying. I feel that it should be organic and happen on its own. I mean, I can comment on it, but you do what you want. I have no preference. SG says, we will forever be the flock of seagullies. Wolf says, well used by pilots until they crashed. It's true. The Wolf sent me, a guy wrote a book or something, but it's the actual translated into English German testimony of a tank sergeant, I think, who was using Pervitine that went on for days and days and days. That's actually a good one. Yeah, Flock of Seagulls. You like that one? According to the tracking number, the ice cream rocket should be there by the time he comes by tomorrow. Yeah, I hope so. Patrick had a mullet in Roadhouse. He did. Slater from Saved by the Bell. Yes. Snake had a mullet. Snake Plissken. Call me Snake. The Wolf says, Crud, I missed the start of March Madness, watching poorly done sci-fi films. Hulk has a skullet. One of the bigger seeds just got taken down by Yale. Those Yaleys, man, they jump up every 5-10 years and they take somebody down with that backdoor offense. They keep running and running and running, and they just won't stop. Let me see if I can. Ooh, I've plummeted in the rankings even more since the last time I checked this. Let's see, East. Let's see. Yeah, Yale beat Auburn by 2. This is so messed up. My West bracket is perfect. Oh, not anymore. Man, I am really stinking up the joint. I normally do really well at this. Let me see here. But I'm in a big pool. So it's early, and that means there's 15 people tied for 4th. 10 people tied for 11th. Then 19th. And then 37th, and I'm in the 37th group. I've only picked 15 out of the 24 right. I've missed 9. But I still have a very high potential final score. So that's saving me. But none of the people that I picked are going to be that. The losses I have, I predicted them to lose in the next round. You know what I mean? But yeah, Yale probably messed up a lot of people. The Yaleys. Yeah, big radio station all weekend. 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tomorrow I'm on 7 to 9 in the morning on the big giant radio station founded in 1926 in Dallas. AM. And then the next day I'm on 7:30 to 10 Eastern. Reverend says he sported a mullet at one time. Kurt Russell, yes, Big Trouble in Little China is my favorite movie to fall asleep to. Don't judge me. I love that movie. I have it on Blu-ray. And I have Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. on Blu-ray. The blonde in Night Court. Oh, I forget her name. Oh, you're not talking about Markie Post, are you? Because both of the blondes that were they public defenders on that show? They both had short people saying hi. Rev, how could you? Tim Allen, Home Improvement. I think he did have a mullet in that. Fall asleep to Big Trouble. Big Trouble in Little China. We watch it about once a year, says In. Yeah, it's a good one. Remember Wild Bill says, Indy, you cross the interstate, you're in a cornfield. Yeah, that's the truth. Jared says, Gully Heads already happened like 2 years ago. I win. Yeah, there was quite a frenzy around Gully Heads. But see, then it turned into Gully Gang, and Gullarinos predates all of that. So do what you want. Yes, I'm looking at the head Tom sent me right here in the room. I sent him a promotional item from The Walking Dead that was a severed head that somebody else had sent me. Terry Nee says, I like a flock of seagullies being a bird and all. Oh, Lynette Miller's here. She says, hello, Gully Whoppers. Yeah, that's another one that people were clamoring for. The Wolf says, I can get on my old boss's case about Auburn. He'll love that. Yeah. Go Dogs. Here's another one. I had Florida Athletic beating Northwestern, and Florida Athletic just choked. They had a chance to come down and win. And the guy who was the top scorer didn't even drive to the basket. He pulled up from the logo and had his shot blocked. It was Go Dogs. It's really not a tournament without the Ball State Cardinals. Thank you. Gully Heads or Gully Buffs? The Wolf says, Tom, you need a bobblehead doll. I am a bobblehead doll. And now we're getting to that time where the sun comes through. Actually, for me, it's Go Tech. Yeah, because Tech's closer to your place there. It's very close to the Techwood campus of Ball State Cartoon Network and Turner Entertainment. Lynette saying hi to Wild Bill. Chat GPT suggested Gully Goof Troop. You know, Chat GPT sometimes knows who I am, and sometimes that. What just happened there? They sometimes know who I am, and sometimes I'm going to do that right now. Chat GPT. And sometimes they know who I am, and sometimes they don't. It's very annoying that sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Lynette, people saying hi to Lynette. Lynette, quite a fan favorite here. Lynette, greeting her public. And everybody always tells me, all these Chat GPT people, they always tell me, oh, well, you gotta get the pay version. I'm like, I'm not paying for that. I ain't paying for that. Okay, so when I go in here and I write Tom Gully, I'm sorry, but without further context, I'm not sure who Tom Gully is. Okay. Oh, it says, please provide more context or specify. Okay, say Tom Gully podcast. Oh, okay. Here we go. As of my last update in January 2022, Tom Gully is primarily known as a comedian, writer, and musician. He has hosted The Tom Gully Show, a podcast covering various topics, including comedy, commentary, interviews, and discussions on current events and pop culture. Gully engages his audience with humor and insight, often sharing personal anecdotes and perspectives on a wide range of subjects. However, beyond his podcast and comedian work, it isn't extensive public information about Tom Gully. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, so it does know who I am. Yeah. If you know, you know. Hello, Julie Newmar. Julie's in the closet right now. Sorry. People saying hi to Diana. Hi, Kim. This is a wolf. What do we got here? I got 3.5 minutes and I got to get out of here because Replayables is on Levyverse channel, and also there's Uncle Rico on the Shuley Network. So I got to be out of here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes. What movie are you referencing with the lighting? Can't put my finger on it. I'm not doing any. It's just the sun coming in through the blinds. Terrifying and enthralling. What did we learn tonight? We learned that if you could like, share, and subscribe the show, we'd appreciate it. YouTube is the preferred way to watch the Tom Gully Show. But if you can do those things, those are free. Those don't cost you a penny. If you want, you can go to thetomgullyshow.com. There's 270 podcasts there. In addition to all of our past shows, which are on YouTube and completely different than the podcasts, they're all free. You can go to the merchandise store at thetomgullyshow.com and get things like this giant mug of 20-ounce coffee mug and shirts and a lot of other stuff. Then you can also donate at paypal.me/Tom Gully Show. We're not monetized yet. We're about 250 viewing hours away. So view on YouTube. And then there's our Patreon, which has all the stuff I'm too scared to put out into the public. Oh, boy. Jared says, like and share or I'll come for you. The Wolf says, we can have fabulous adventures on Pervitine. Monday night show will be on Pervitine. Cool shirts and hats. Thank you, Lynette's got some of that stuff. Diana O'Brien says, we never stop learning. We never do. And we learned about mullets and how cool my Dennis Bergkamp haircut is. I got to get out of here because these other shows are starting. Replayables on Levyverse Network and Uncle Rico on the Shuley Network. So, hope you guys have a great weekend. I, again, will be on the Giant Radio Station, founded in October of 1926 in Dallas, Texas. I will be on from 7 Eastern to 9 Eastern Saturday, as well as top and bottom of the hour till 1. And then I will be on 7:30 to 10 Sunday without stopping, and top and bottom of the hour till 1 o'clock. So, with all that being said, I guess, I better close the phone lines. I guess the only thing left to say is. Till next time, we'll see you next time. Right out of my